Murder cases in the United States that have remained unsolved despite being hidden for decades. Zodiac Killer. At the time, newspapers published not only the killer's letters, but also the codes he sent with them. The newspapers encouraged the public to help decipher the secret messages. One text, known as the 408 code, included the message, "I like killing people because it's so much fun." Another, the 340 code, was not deciphered until 2020. It began with, "I hope you're having a great time trying to catch me." However, the letters and the codes that were deciphered were not enough to solve the case. Although many suspects were investigated, the identity of the Zodiac Killer was never proven. The most investigated suspect, schoolteacher Arthur Lee Allen, was committed to a mental hospital in 1975 for unrelated crimes. Considering theories that the killer was active before 1968 and into the 80s, we have to admit that we're not even sure how many people he killed. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 blows, and when she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41 blows. This famous nursery rhyme shows that there was never any doubt as to whether Lizzie Borden had killed her father and stepmother on August 4, 1892. Officially, the identity of the murderer remains a mystery. While Lizzie and her maid Bridget Sullivan were alone in the Borden house with Mr. and Mrs. Borden, Lizzie reportedly found her father dead. He had been struck repeatedly in the head with a blunt instrument. She found her stepmother's body upstairs. At first, the evidence against Lizzie seemed bleak. She had recently tried to take cyanuric acid, a poison, and had allegedly set fire to a dress in the stove. In addition, Sullivan, a suspected accomplice, had been seen carrying a package from the house on the evening of August 4. However, at Lizzie's trial in 1893, the court ruled that all of this evidence was only circumstantial. Lizzie was found not guilty and no other suspects were arrested. Hall Mills murders. The murders of a minister and a choir singer on a makeshift lover's lane shocked a small town, leading to widespread accusations, inconsistent witness testimony, and multiple false confessions. The year was 1922. And in New Brunswick, New Jersey, the Reverend Edward Wheeler Hall was having an extramarital affair with a member of his congregation, Eleanor Mills, who was also married. The pair left their family home on September 14th to meet each other. When Hall did not return home that night, his wife Frances and one of his brothers-in-law began a search, but neither Hall nor Mills were found until 2 days later, when their bodies were found under a crabapple tree by another couple walking along Lover's Lane. Hall had been shot once in the head, but Mills's body had been brutally mutilated. He had been shot 3 times in the face, and his throat had been slit so deeply that his head had nearly been severed. An autopsy later revealed that his tongue and larynx had been cut. After they were killed, the couple's bodies were arranged so that they were almost embracing. The case was clearly personal. Although Hall and Mills's affair was well known in town, both spouses claimed to have remained in the dark. A claim that made investigators and the tabloids, who quickly picked up the story, highly suspicious. Frances, along with her brothers William and Henry Stevens, were considered prime suspects. But despite their efforts, the prosecution could find no evidence to convict the brothers. Witness testimonies were constantly changed, likely due to media reports. People continued to confess to the murders for attention, and physical evidence was destroyed when travelers searched for souvenirs to comb through crime scenes. As a result, Edward and Eleanor's murders were never solved. Black Dahlia. On January 15, 1947, 22-year-old Elizabeth Short was found dead in Los Angeles. Her body was so dismembered that the woman who found her, a mother out for a walk with her young daughter, thought she had stumbled upon a mannequin. The incident caused an immediate sensation. The nickname Black Dahlia soon followed, in reference to her devotion to sheer black dresses, and the 1946 film noir, The Blue Dahlia, about an unfaithful housewife who wins. In short, she was described as a flighty party girl with a record of underage drinking. According to records, cataloging a young woman's abuse was more exciting than mourning her loss. The alleged killer's letters to the police added to the media frenzy. Since a Short murder was ruled unsolved, amateur sleuths have offered their own solutions. The murder of a former police detective inspired a television series called I Am the Night. A British investigator has alleged that California police collaborated with the killers. No suspects have been arrested in connection with the December 26, 1996 death of JonBenet Ramsey, a gold medal beauty pageant winner, in the basement of her Boulder, Colorado home. At that time, JonBenét's mother, Patsy, called 911 to report her daughter missing, and a ransom note found in the house demanding $118,000 to replace her daughter. However, several hours later, the family and police discovered that JonBenét had never actually left the house. When a second search of the house was requested, the body of her father, John, was found in the basement. She had been killed with a single blow to the head, including her hands and mouth, and a garrote made from one of Patsy's paintbrushes and a piece of string. Investigators later uncovered JonBenét's sexual treatment. Suspects soon emerged: a random intruder, a family friend who posed as Santa Claus at the Ramseys' Christmas parties, JonBenét's family friend, JonBenét's families, and her 9-year-old brother, Burke. Much of the investigation that has remained in the public memory of the case has been botched. Shortly after the police first began building the Ramseys' home, before the house had been thoroughly searched for physical examination, friends of the Ramseys arrived to support the family, and the police allowed them to stay in the house. Some even helped Patsy clean her kitchen. If there were any definitive physical evidence, it was almost immediately destroyed.